Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Johnny Mandolin Show. Once again, it's me, your man, Artie, the cigar guy, and today I will be smoking, I keep making that mistake, speaking with my two buddies, Jumbo and Tom, about art and film. So stay tuned here on City World Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So here we are, episode 4 of my little show here on the Johnny Mandolin Show. So episode 1, we had a nice interview with Gus and Billy of Artesano del Tabaco about the workings of a cigar company. Episode 2, we talked about the history and about the timeline of tobacco with our good friend, the lawyer Rob. Then, after that, we actually had a really nice episode where I spoke with DJ Nino Brown about music industry, what he does with music, and how it relates to cigars. And today, as part of my monthly little residency here, I want to end off on a topic that's really interesting to me, music and film and art. Okay, so today with me, I actually have my two guests. We have Virgilio Ponte, okay, or a.k.a. Jumbo, and Tom Fran, and
it's Francis.
Francis, excuse me.
Good job.
Good
job.
You. So Jumbo is actually a buddy of mine who's really into film. He's a filmmaker himself. He's been doing it for many years, so that's why I brought him on today. And my buddy Tom Francis is actually a local artist, and he also dabbles with music and does some great work with that. That's why I brought him on. And both of these gentlemen are avid cigars.
I would say dabble.
No.
It's almost non-existent.
You also didn't pay me.
We're in for a great show here, guys. So anyway, pretty much both of these guys, the most important thing is they're very avid cigar smokers. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about, what they do in their regular life, and then we're going to talk a little bit about cigars and see how one influences the other. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on my show. Why don't you give the folks at home a little introduction?
All right. My name is Virgilio Ponte. That's my birth name, but most of my friends call me Jumbo. Been a filmmaker for 10 years and working a couple projects right now. Particularly one with Stephen King. That's going to be on Netflix.
We'll talk about that later for sure.
Yeah, of course. I just want to put it in there.
Yeah, and I'm Tom, so, I dabble in the music and art world. I'm also a bit of a writer myself. I know, jokes. I've been what's called a ghostwriter and producer for quite a while, and that's what I've been doing. I don't like cigars, so let's avoid that topic.
I did expect him to tell people that he was actually a ghostwriter. I thought he wanted me to keep that a secret, but I guess we're going to be exploring many secrets here on the Johnny Mandolin Show today.
Yeah, he co-wrote Mein Kampf.
Whoa. We're taking it straight to 100 here today.
Another big secret for the audience. I'm not wearing any pants.
And by the way, him being dabble in music and me being filmmaker is just a different way of saying we unemployed.
Or hey, my LinkedIn profile says I'm an entrepreneur, all right?
Well, my LinkedIn profile says I graduated from Columbia University. Not true at all.
That was in Columbia, the country, right?
I guess since we're all telling secrets here today, I also want to point out to our audience that Jumbo is in fact not really Jumbo. It's quite surprising when you see it. He's actually quite unjumbo. That's just wanted to give you guys a nice picture here.
I'm skinny. Just say it. I'm skinny.
He's skinny as fuck. Anyway.
Good thing you can't draw.
I don't know.
You want to give everyone a picture? There you go.
All right. So, guys, let's jump into the show. So
you're not quick either,
Jumbo. Like you mentioned, you're doing a really interesting Stephen King project, and I did bring you on because I find it very fascinating, and I've been keeping up with it as much as you've been, posting on Instagram. By the way, tell folks where they can see your Instagram so they can see photos of this actual project.
It's Jumbo Sachs.
Yeah, Jumbo Sacks.
SACS.
And he posts
Get
many
it right.
great many great set photos from the project. So
Yeah.
you guys should definitely check that out because it's quite interesting. But tell me a little bit about more. What I want to know is, how did this begin? Like, so I'm thinking Stephen King. That's quite a big name. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
somebody coming up to me and saying, "Hey, I want you to work for the Davidoff company." As like head. Make me a Davidoff cigar.
Is
That's
there a question in there, bro?
the question is, how the hell did this happen?
Okay, well, it's like almost, a year and a half ago now. Jesus Christ, we're working on this for a year and a half. So me and my collaborator, Israel, we were working on a bunch of short films, and one of them was submitted into a bunch of film festivals by one of our producers. Her name was Mary.
What was that film called?
It was called The Expressionist.
Can you tell me just quickly what that was about?
I can't tell you because it was it's very surreal. It's very surreal. It's
Interesting.
psychological. We didn't think it was going to go anywhere. We did
see.
it more as practice than anything else. It's for a bigger project we were supposed to work on. We were supposed to work on a feature. So our friend / producer had put in film festivals, but they didn't really tell us. And it got into a small festival in San Diego. And Paul Haggis, who's a big-time screenwriter.
I love Haggis.
I know you like Haggis. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the jokes for us.
Yeah, you're not funny.
No.
That's why I have a show, bitch.
You replacing someone who's not here.
And today's your last day, so calm down.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so Paul Haggis, who's been a legendary screenwriter, did many documentaries. Actually, he was in the documentary Going Clear, because he was in Scientology for like 20 30
I see.
years.
That's the Scientology one where they like break free. That's the one.
Yeah, he's one of the
gotcha.
guys who actually broke free from it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, he wrote that?
No, but he's in the documentary because
I
he
see.
was like part of Scientology from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the guys who got out.
Mhm.
But he just happened to see our short film, which is literally 3 minutes long. It's not even like it's beyond a short film.
So
It's
was
almost
this
a commercial.
Was the film submitted as a joke?
Probably because we had no idea it was being put out there. Like we were semi not retirement, but taking a break from filmmaking. So he sees the film and really enjoys it, but he wants to get a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So one of his close friends is Frank Darabont, who directed Shawshank Redemption and all the great Stephen King, adaptations from the 90s. He saw it, and the first thing he thought was, whoever these guys are, what are they doing is something different and new. So he contacted Stephen and told him that. And he's like, because Stephen King had a project going on, or working on a project where he was taking, I think, 12 short stories that never been adapted. So he wanted to do like an anthology series where each episode is based on a short story. So there was there was one last slot that was open, and Frank Darabont had told me you should get these new guys on because I think they're gonna be the next big thing. Fresh meat. Yeah. They kind of knew. So it's like there's a different vision for anything else that we're doing. So that's how we got on.
That's usually how you find the fresh stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult for like somebody who's established to switch it up all of a sudden and make something new and fresh. Usually they're really good at what they do.
Well, that was the thing, though. That was like the major thing, because we even asked them, like, do you want us to do like a straight adaptation of the short story? Because it's like 4 pages long. It's called The Man Who Loved Flowers. That was the original story. And we were told, no, do your version of it. We wanted you, we hired you guys for your style. So do it your style. Change what you need to change. Or as long as we approve the changes, then you could do what you want.
So I have a quick question. So you mentioned that this was submitted to these film festivals, and I'm guessing there's many different kinds with many different standards. But how does it work? Do you submit it and it gets shown, or is there somebody that chooses it? Like
someone chooses it. Because I used to work on a film festival years ago too.
There you go.
So
Boom.
I worked in every aspect of the film industry. Yeah, basically, right? So the way it works, you submit it. You usually pay. That's a submission payment for it. But it goes to goes onto a pile, and there's people who judge, who watch them,
review
them, say, okay, this is good, this is good. They break it down. Let's say it's like 1,000 submissions. So they break that down to 500, then 500, 300. So then wherever like the top 10, that's the ones that really get in.
Interesting. And so when do you think we can expect to? So what? Tell me a little bit about where you're at right now as far as the movie and like maybe a quick timeline of where you see it moving forward.
Well, it's not a movie. It's
excuse
an
me.
episode in the
Yes.
show. I
My
do the same thing
apologies.
too. I say even on set, I'm like, "Oh, finish this movie already." It's like, no, it's not a movie, but it's been delayed a couple of times. The series itself, so it gave us a lot of time to rework the script and just expand the story. From on this date, it's supposed to be coming out in October.
So let me ask you this question: what kind of audience do you feel like will really will get captured by this movie? Like, right? Because I'm a big comic book nerd. I love fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
There's guys that love horror. There's guys that love like NCIS and detective shows. Like, what genre are we talking about here? 'Cause I know it's horror, right?
Yeah,
But,
I think
how would you describe your movie as far as genre, like, but not horror? What type of
it's
horror?
kind of
is
like
it?
more psychological.
It's a
horror,
psychological
you
flick?
know,
Mhm.
pretty much so. But it's also that it's extremely visual. It's very surreal, also. So there's like surrealism in it. So it's not really like I can't say like someone who loves horror who loves this go like I think it's our thing was so for my own self. I might do something that's interesting than let's say just good. You know, I want to get people talking
Gotcha.
more than anything else.
So it's a bit of a surreal. It's almost like a Twilight Zone episode. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, Twilight Zone's not really surreal. Surreal is like it's not the images and the storyline is not quite based on reality. It's almost dreamlike. That's the best way to describe it.
I
It's
see.
dreamlike.
Well, here's the thing, right? Since this is an adaptation and a pretty heavy one, like you mentioned, the only thing that I really am seeing.
So I'll get to you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll get to you, Tom. I got questions for you, buddy. So once, the only way that I can really see any kind of media from this, right, other than you working on it sometimes at the end, is that you have your Instagram, like I said, and from the pictures, it's a little difficult to put together a story, which is understandable,
Always has
right?
always like that.
Yeah. And plus, a lot of them are like not really even probably from the movie. They're just set shots, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm noticing, there's one trend that I am noticing. I don't want to reveal too much, but what I'm noticing is a lot of color.
Yeah.
Tons of colors, a lot of reds, just the whole
Reds
rooms
and
that are
blues,
red.
yeah.
A lot of blues. What's up with that? Can you tell me a little bit about the colors?
Well, it's just visually dynamic.
Is the different color of the scene effect like the like when it's red there's anger, when it's blue
Yeah,
it's
not
more
so much
passive?
emotions, but
No?
it's certain characters. I try to get them certain color palettes.
I see. Why is that? Just so they stand out, or does that?
Yeah, because
color-
that's part of the narrative. You know, it's a lot. That goes back to the silent films, like back in the 1900s and 1920s. Because people think when silent films were black and white, they weren't. They were actually in different tones, tints, and they used to use certain tints for certain scenes. Or if you want to show nighttime, you did a blue tint. If you want to show that there was a fire in the town, it was a red tint. Or certain characters used to have certain tints. So that was something I got from there. So because it's so surreal, I like to play with the colors to show you, this is their mindset at this point, or you know, he's in a dream state here.
I see.
But he's in reality here.
Oh,
you know? So it's like I'm playing with colors to tell the story.
I see. So you're using the colors as a narrative tool to kind of so it's not really an emotional thing. It's
No,
more
because
of a what to look for, a little
most
hint.
filmmakers and cinematographers just put colors in movies because it looks nice. I tend to do it to tell a story. Everything you do in a film has to tell a story, even how you use the lens. You know, what f-stop you use.
Interesting.
You know?
And just to clarify for all our listeners, if I'm not mistaken, you are a director / cinematographer on this film, or how does it work?
The official positions I have is cinematographer and co-executive producer, but I'm unofficial director.
Co-psycho producer?
No, executive producer.
Executive. Excuse
Yeah.
me, I misheard you.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm unofficially co-director, but I never take credit for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But what we're hearing is when we do watch this, we're going to be seeing a little bit of jumbo in there for sure, or actually a lot of jumbo. A lot of jumbo. All right. Well, on that note, I do want to switch over to our other guest here today, Tom Francis, and
This will be a short interview.
Tom. So like you mentioned, you do art. You're into music. I want to start with the art.
Well, I'm also a filmographer too, whatever that is.
Film a cinematographer.
Cinematographer.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's what he
guys.
said before. It's a filmographer.
I know words, and I know how to say words. So
Yeah.
that's
You
all
use
that
the
matters.
best words.
Yeah, you use the best
I have
words.
the best words. So listen,
Bigly with the best words.
I have the biggest words. Anyway, so
Good job. Good job. SNL's calling. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, ring, ring, ring.
And he's Mad
Hello?
TV.
Yeah. So
Replace Artie Lang.
he's not dead though, right? Is he?
No,
No,
he
he's not.
should be
Oh.
though. You see his face?
Oh yeah, didn't he lose his nose? Holy
Yeah,
shit!
And he
It's
snorted
cocaine.
glass.
Artie Lang. Shout out to
He
Artie
did.
Lang. I hope
He did?
Yeah,
Sorry.
glass was
Oh.
like mixed into the
Doesn't
coke. Yeah,
Oh my
I thought
god,
that
that's
kills you.
crazy.
it almost did.
How did we get off on this tangent? But
I don't know.
anyway, let's get back to the
Why
art.
not?
So,
It's better than what we're doing right now.
so here's the thing: the last piece of artwork.
Well, I mean, we could not to interrupt you, Artie. We can transition from me working in music on Artie or on Jumbo's movie. I mean, that's something of how I know Jumbo.
Yeah, but no one cares about that. Let's
All
talk
right,
about
fine.
the art. So listen,
Who wrote this program?
so
Is that Artie Lang?
the last time
Your name is Artie too.
yeah, I know.
I just
right?
noticed that. I
Just
just-
now, I thought
Yeah,
that was the whole joke.
it took a no. Actually,
No.
no. I just thought because you fat and ugly like him.
No.
I mean, he's not that bad looking.
Who?
Oh.
Artie Lang?
Artie
no,
Lang.
he's a cute guy.
Yeah, he is.
This guy.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He was lovable at one time.
Yes.
In
you
his
know
life.
what? Okay,
With
I have a
Norm.
better idea. Jumbo, so I heard about that movie that you're doing. I heard it's quite fascinating. Let me ask you more questions about that because this guy's being a dick. So I heard that you're going to be actually shooting a bit of your movie inside of a penitentiary. Or am I
yeah.
right about that? Is that a penitentiary?
Yeah, it's a abandoned penitentiary that you actually could rent out certain rooms.
Wait, what penitentiary?
It's in Philadelphia.
Tell me. So tell me a
Shout
little
out
bit.
to Anthony, my boy Anthony.
Hot breakfast.
He's
cold
the
lunch.
lead handyman at Eastern State.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Is that abandoned or?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
Oh,
one.
that might be it.
Yeah,
I
no,
think it's
it
Easton's
is
thing.
that.
It is,
It
Easton's
is
thing.
that.
Oh shit, get out
dude,
of here.
that's
He
Anthony's
works
prison.
there?
Him and his roommate, yeah, or
Oh.
ex-roommate. Yeah.
We had to talk.
Small-
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Oh shit.
I mean, I only see you every day. I didn't know this.
No. 'cause
So
I-
okay, let me just
yeah.
get this straight, guys. Shut the fuck up for a minute. So Jumbo, you will be shooting scenes for your episode of your anthology series for Stephen King in a penitentiary.
Yeah.
With Tom knows somebody that works there.
Apparently, yeah.
He's like
Oh.
the electrician handyman.
Oh, that's the guy we gotta be talking to.
Are you kidding me?
No, I am not. Yeah, because we gotta figure out.
You
Boom! You see,
you've-
things happen on the Johnny Mandolin show when Artie hosts.
You've met him.
Big moves.
I
big
know,
moves.
but I
You've
didn't
met
know
him.
you worked there. That's
All
hilarious.
right, you know what? Nobody gives a shit about this, so why don't you guys figure this out a bit later? Let's talk about the penitentiary, though. So you guys are saying that you can rent out a whole abandoned place.
Not
That-
the whole place,
No.
but certain sections.
Interesting. And
yeah,
so
he knows.
so it's possible that you could have other people working in the same place at the same time as you.
I mean, not in the same exact spot.
No, I know exactly, but I mean,
But
like
it could be
it's
in another part of the prison.
But,
yeah.
but is it actually a giant prison or is it like
No,
just
dude, it
sets?
was the biggest prison in the country.
So okay, so it is a prison.
yeah, what was his name? Al Capone was there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Al Capone. Yeah.
Yeah,
You said Mel?
no, Al.
Mel Capone. Mel,
Al
his
Capone.
cousin Mel Capone.
Mel Capone, the film director.
The film. Yeah. It was.
He was in Not the
Who was his
Producers.
Canadian cousin? Mel.
So how does it work? You got is there a certain company that pretty much allows that rents out this service? Or do you
I
have
really
to-
don't know the backstory behind it. I just know he goes shooting in prison.
Oh, okay. So there's no because I'm just wondering. Let's
He
say,
found it because Israel lived in Philadelphia for most of his life, so he knew about it. And I think it's pretty recently that they made to like a kind of event because it's kind of
Yeah.
famous for being haunted.
Well, they do,
also,
yeah, and they do like
you know.
tours and things there. But
Right.
like during Halloween, they do like a big Halloween show.
Yeah.
So like they do that for like 3
what,
months.
What
it's
do you
like
mean
one of
by
those
show. Like, is it like a
It's,
concert?
they bring
or what?
no, they bring actors in, and you can go through the museum or not the museum,
I
the
see.
prison
They
for
reenact shower scenes from the prison
yeah,
days.
right.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
part.
you have
I
inmates
don't know about
throwing
you.
their feces at you, so it's
Well, I mean, yeah.
hilarious.
Gotta-
Make sure to keep your mouth open.
Got to do a good reenactment. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now that I've punished Tom, I think we can go back. Tom, can we talk about your art now, or should I just go back to this movie bullshit?
Sure, that's
All
fine.
right, very good. So, listen, the last piece that I saw from you was one that you made for our good friend Wanda for her birthday. I thought that was beautiful. How did you,
Great
so,
girl.
Just
She's a great girl.
Yeah, Wanda's great.
Really quickly, yeah, she's all right. So, really quickly to to explain it, it was a flower on like a background of what was
That's
on
a white orchid
white orchid
that
and
was on top of a stenciled background. Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I want to hit on. Tell me, because I honestly, out of all your work, the stencil work that you show me is the most impressive. So how do you do that? I mean, tell me as much as you're willing to. I know it is probably maybe a secret, but do you like cut out like papers into different shapes and spray paint them? How do you?
Well, not to damage the work itself, but honestly, it was a 99-cent placemat that I found at the 99-cent store that has holes in it. Yeah.
But how do you how does it work? Do you create each unique shape?
No, I didn't do any of that. The stencils. It was stenciled itself. It was a
you pull
placemat.
stencils.
It was like a doily.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then just spray over it. It used that as the stencil.
Oh.
There you go.
So you didn't actually make the shape. You just used something else to make the shape. You chose the color and the scheme.
colors, the scheme, the rest of it, right? And then the layout and how it was put together.
I had no idea, but it still looked really good. There was another picture that you showed me. It was like a freaking pelican or some shit.
Yeah. It was a puffin.
Puffin. And that one I think you did
puffin.
Completely by hand, right? So how did you?
That was cut, stencil cut by hand. Yeah, so that was a gift from my sister.
So yeah, how does that work? You cut out the shapes, each unique shape, and then you spray paint it on to make the final picture.
That one there was a little bit more difficult and complicated. It was a 12-layer stencil, so 12 different layers on top of each other. So you lay one, you do the next one, wait for it to dry, do the next one, wait for it to dry. But that was initially how it was put together.
Do you mind if I ask you a question about some of your some of your artwork that went into the galleries and stuff?
I do mind, but I'll allow it.
Okay, so I know that recently you had a piece that was flown out to California.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'd never seen it or know nothing about it. Can you tell me a little bit about that piece?
I'm quite active in the street art world, so I can say that. I'm not going to say who I am or what I've done, but I have shown all over the world. I had a piece in Tokyo at the same time as
Banksy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, incriminate me, Bloomberg. I'm on the. I'm looking out for you. But no, I had a few pieces in specific galleries at that point. I had a piece in Tokyo and a piece in LA. This is a piece for. Hey, shout out to Wanda.
Wanda
I did not.
Just texted me. What do you mean I'm all right?
Yeah, no. Hey, I said Wanda's great. Wanda, you're great.
That was a good girl, right?
She's all right.
Yeah, Artie, you're a fool.
All right, go
Friendship
on.
over.
Come on.
Wanda, I'll hit him for you. I'll hit him for you.
Not another one.
Started.
Wanda, I already lost one friend over you. I'm not gonna lose another.
I'm gonna stuff his watches down the garbage compost.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway,
tell me about that.
So yeah, the art pieces. So I did have a piece in a big show in LA. I mean, it was one of the bigger pieces that I've done. It was about 3 feet by 4 feet tall.
That's pretty big.
And the biggest trouble there was shipping that thing out to LA.
I remember that.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it was good. It was good. I mean, I sent a smaller piece out to Tokyo, which they paid for. I've had pieces shown in Australia. I've had pieces in London.
You said that with an accent, Australia.
Well,
so quick question. So you mentioned I had a piece that was sent to Tokyo that was paid. So that means that they commissioned a piece from you, or you sent it over there and they got bought?
I sent it over there to be sold in a gallery, but they paid me to ship it there.
I see. And how did that go?
It's in the garbage.
It's still there.
It's totally in the garbage.
Any listeners in Tokyo, please avoid the otter farms.
So I know that
you ever see those videos, the otter farms? Yeah.
Otter farms.
Yeah, you can go and hang out with otters. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought this was some
and
sort
you could
of,
feed them and stuff.
I swear to God, I thought otter farm was a sex move. I'm like, I never heard of otter farm.
No.
I mean,
it's an actual form of otters.
Yes, it's a.
We need to take.
Well, I mean, it's
otters also is a term for.
Okay,
we
are PC here on.
Really?
We are.
I mean,
we are
whatever that means at the river with the
PC.
river boys.
Pussy cunt. That's
okay, we just lost half our listeners.
That's awful.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, and that was just Wanda. I mean,
bye, Wanda.
Her husband's still listening, unfortunately.
So
it was half a zero.
So
half a zero.
Yes.
So the one thing that I will say that I always found the most interesting about you and your artwork is that you are pretty versatile. I've seen you do many different things. Shoes and obviously, like you mentioned, your street work and also your canvas work and different styles. Like I remember you showed me that Takashi piece, and even though I didn't get it, it was quite genius after you explained it to me. You know what I mean? But my question is, what is your favorite style of art? And I guess the follow up is what's the one that got you into it? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not. I'm not a fan of art at all. I do it as some form of release, but I don't appreciate anything that I do. I don't think anything is great. But it's also, I don't really appreciate too many artists either.
Well, I listen, I understand because I do cigar reviews. Y'all know that, but I don't watch any. You know, that's what keeps me original. So, but that's not my question. My question is, you do all these different forms of art. What is your favorite to do?
I don't really have a favorite. That's the whole point, is I don't have a favorite. It's just kind of whatever I feel at that point. I don't.
Okay, no, fair enough.
I really don't. I mean,
so
like,
it depends on your
depends on the
emotional
day.
state.
I mean, what type of favorite cigar do you have today? I mean, that's kind of like,
you're right. You're right. But here's the thing, right?
Depends on the day.
My cigar, it does depend on the day, but it depends on what I eat. It depends on maybe what I'm having with the cigar.
That's a lot depending.
what pairs well with spicy hot pockets?
Perdomo,
what pairs
champagne.
with Alpo?
All right, so fair enough. I mean, I guess that's as good an answer.
But that's kind of like Warhol, right?
Yeah.
Warhol didn't have necessarily one specific style of art. You
Right.
know, it's wherever he wants to express it.
And
I go explain this to everyone for you.
please,
I got this.
please, thank you.
He's PR. He doesn't do art.
No.
He just pretends. He actually works at McDonald's.
Yeah. I don't work at McDonald's. They
And,
fired me.
He fooled you.
I was
the whole
fired.
time.
I was fired for eating all the apple pies.
I guess all those pieces that he showed me were just somebody else made by somebody.
Yeah,
else.
I made them.
Fantastic. This shows.
I don't know why I'm taking credit for
best.
your shitty work.
Yeah,
Well, you just did on the open air.
No, but he's always been like that. He's like because I know Tom for way too long.
I've
But
known
you-
Mean for way too long
So,
too.
yeah, right. But yeah, he's always been wherever works, wherever he's
Yeah.
feeling at that particular time, he wants to use.
And it's the same thing with music as well. I mean, I don't really have a specific genre that I really love to work in. It just kind of whatever happens and comes to me.
Yeah,
and
it's just shitty. So
and
Yeah, it's I mean, it's if not worse.
that one I definitely can't agree with. But as far as the music goes, I did want to jump into that a little bit too. So what genres do you work with? Like
I'm primarily involved now. I mean, with electronic and pop music. I started with electronic and hip hop. Back in the day, I used to be kind of a heavy metal grunge drummer, and you can't have a drum set in New York City, so I had to move into the electronics. So I'm what they call a bedroom musician, which is, I mean, everything is set up in your bedroom. You just kind of have your computer and a few different, outlets to be able to produce some of this stuff, and then you kind of turn it into what you have. I have my own studio in my apartment, but also I have a studio in Manhattan as well, so I'm able to be able to produce and do what I need to do on a larger scale. So.
let me ask you this: what like when you started out? So you like you said, you were in the city, you couldn't do drums, so you had to do electronic because obviously you had phones, right? That makes sense.
Well, I was also a fan of electronic music though too, and for a smaller. I mean, it's not too much into the techno trance stuff, but more of that stuff that blended that gap between kind of like rock, industrial, and kind of electronic music. So like on the levels of like Daft Punk and Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, that type of stuff, but also mixed in with like Chemical Brothers, Crystal Method, Moby, that type of stuff.
Oh, you listed a whole shitload of people that I love. So let me ask you this: do you remember the name of your first song that you worked on? That you did yourself? Oh, I guess
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell me about it.
So I was actually working with a friend of mine.
Biscuit.
It was
We know.
Fred
We
Durst.
started that whole thing,
I was
son of a bitch.
I was the one who wrote Break Stuff, $3 Bill Y'all.
Wrong album.
Yeah. It's all the same bullshit.
sad.
So
I'm not really old. I'm not old as them. They're old as fuck. So I have no idea.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm talking
Well, hey, you just gotta have faith, all right?
All right, go ahead, but tell me.
Stop it.
So, no, the first track I actually worked on was with a producer friend that both him and I were big into heavy metal music, and we were in this is I was living in New York at the time, and we were waiting for another friend of mine to kind of show up. So, he was wasting time with this girl that he had no chance with. So we ended up his name was his last name was Robles, and what we did is we created a 45-minute track of just nonsense, and it was noise, and I used everything we can to like kind of produce something to make a just a shit ton of noise, and it turned into this sleeper of a headache that we've played at festivals and at parties and whatnot later on, and just drove everyone insane. But him and I were on track to become like in the front of a lot of that electronic music. So this is at the rise of like Mastercraft and Justice, like back when they were kind of blowing up. We were on that level of kind of blending electronic music with like hard rock guitars and weirdo samples and things like that. So we were coming up at that time, but unfortunately this guy, hopefully he's listening, ended up getting married and ruining the rest of his life very early. So that was his wife told him that he was not allowed to speak to me because I was a bad influence. So unfortunately we disbanded, and I've been doing that's what got me into the electronic production after that.
That's a terrible story.
It's a horrible story.
So
I got bored.
I got bored listening to 40. But with the one thing that was interesting, there was one interesting thing. It was 45 minutes.
The ending.
No, it was the first. Well, we did 3 versions of this track, and it was the first one was 45 minutes. A year later, to the day, we came back and did another one, which was like a little over an hour, and then another one that we did is a little over an hour. So think similar to like Aphex Twin, kind of mixed with just if Aphex Twin wasn't talented, that's kind of what we sounded like. But weirdly enough, though, I because this my friend of mine, I mean, he was incredibly talented in the electronic music space. So that's what was really kind of motivating.
He was all the talent.
He was all the talent. I was the one with the equipment and the jokes and the nonsense samples.
Everybody plays a part.
They all play a part to make something. So I mean, we started doing some of that, and it just it didn't necessarily take off. But I did use some of that work later on in my work, years down the road. So
do you still have it?
I do have it.
Oh, you must play.
I will. I have videos of people going absolutely insane. Shout out to Anthony McKenna, Philadelphia. He knows what I'm talking about. So back to Eastern State Penitentiary.
I like how he's shining out like as if people listening to shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Shout out to Weatherman. What up, Weatherman?
Yeah, well, we know why. We know someone's listening. We know someone's listening.
Yes.
Weatherman and Wanda. Wanda probably signed off by now.
I'm
but
barely listening now.
it's hard to pay attention to
the
this show.
Wanda says, thanks, Tom, for saying that she's more than all right.
Wanda's great.
Yeah. So
Weatherman's okay.
So you do mention electronic music, but tell me, I've also heard you make like hip hop beats and stuff like that.
I have, yeah.
You also do hip hop and stuff?
I do. I broke into that because back in, I want to say 2011, 2012, the electronic movement was kind of blending in with hip hop at that point. So they were looking at electronic producers to kind of build their tracks for local hip hop acts in New York. So that's how I ended up getting involved with a few different major labels and working with who I work with and do what I do. Unfortunately, I can't really talk too much about it.
That's fine.
But it's that's how I got started and got involved with that.
So I guess since we're on that topic, what do you? Is there any particular direction you want to take moving forward, or are you just going to continue with electronic? Is there something that you maybe wanted to try that you haven't tried yet?
Not really. I'm kind of bored with the industry itself. I would like to work for the industry because I'm tired of not making any money as a talent. I'd much rather be an executive at Warner or at Atlantic Records or EMI or something like that, even though, EMI is a joke. Shout out to Sex Pistols. So, nobody got that. Congratulations. All right. Never mind. I mean, I don't know. I do it, I say for fun, but I don't even have fun with it anymore. It's gotten to a point where it's just kind of, anybody can do it. It's all out there. It's oversaturated. Nobody pays for music. Even when I got started, nobody paid for music.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah. But now they pay even less for somebody with some sort of talent. That's why I got into, lyric writing as well as like ghost writing for lyrics because, they pay a little bit more and it's not something I need to sit there and produce for hours on end. It's something I can write on the train or thought comes to me, I can just write it in
and that actually works out for you. So you're actually doing that now.
I do that now, but it's not enough to pay a rent.
I see.
I mean, you have Pharrell, and then you have somebody like me who, Pharrell, makes his pay, but
Okay, I got you. Before any of my listeners kill themselves for depression, let's switch over to Jumbo.
That's it. Am I done? Can I leave?
Just for now. I'll ask you about your shitty wallet later.
I still gotta stay here. I gotta still stay here.
So
you still gotta stay here, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm putting my pants back on.
Well, we're about a good solid 30 minutes into the show, and at this point, I kind of want to talk a little bit about how we all know each other. So obviously, everyone.
Oh, joy!
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, you think my story was fascinating?
Everybody here smokes cigars, and we all actually smoked together at the Cigar Inn, the Casa de Monte Cristo. Funny enough, Jumbo actually used to work there, but then he decided to leave to work full time on his movie. So
that's the story you put out? No, that's not the story. That is not the story. I don't care.
Yeah.
That is not the story.
Yeah.
No.
Terminated.
Anyway, probably shouldn't have said anything, but so yeah, and Tom is there like literally every day because I think he's home. I'm not sure. Maybe homeless. I don't know.
Almost.
Homeless
He's
question mark.
almost homeless.
Almost homeless.
Homeless asterisk.
That is not a joke.
Okay, and so really quickly, we do have to talk about cigars at least a little bit.
Really?
At least a little bit.
Cigars are boring,
I am
man.
already the cigar guy.
Talk about your necklace.
Yeah, right.
What about my necklace?
Ugh.
The one with the sand from Coney Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
And you love
Coney
Coney
Island
that
sand.
much, huh?
Yeah, it's.
So what do you want to talk about cigars?
Yeah, huh?
Well, you are on a cigar show, so we do have to talk about cigars. So listen.
Really?
So what? Tell me a little bit about what you like. Is there anything interesting that you've been smoking recently that you've kind of think is worth mentioning?
Well, being that I was unemployed, I know what. Usually my go-tos are always like, I mean, it's like the Casa Cubas from Arturo Fuente.
Oh, I love Casa
I
Cuba.
love the smokes. That Padrones, I haven't really.
Same
Oh,
shit,
I
huh?
did try that Avo.
The
recommended-
30?
Yeah, the 30.
And what'd you think of that? I thought it was delicious.
I thought it was up and down. Like it started really bitter, and then
The Maduro?
the Maduro, yeah, the Maduro,
Oh.
yeah.
Yes, it did.
It
start
started
bitter.
really bitter. It got nice in the middle.
So
It got sweet towards
j-
the
j-
end, but then it ended really badly. Like,
just want to
just
point
like
out.
every relationship I've been in, it ended really badly.
We're talking about
Whose
the
fault
Avo,
is that?
The Avo Ovizian 30 Maduro. That's the one, the Churchill long one. And you're right. It does start off tasting kind of like shit, but it does.
No,
really-
I didn't say it tastes like shit in the beginning. It was bitter.
Well, shit,
like
I'm
I don't,
saying that.
I don't. Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I have a better vocabulary than you.
Yeah.
No, it was just bitter.
You mean a vocabulary?
Yes.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Tom, how about you, man? I know probably even worse asking you that question. 'Cause
Yeah.
You just smoke whatever anybody throws. Yesterday
No.
you smoked a fake fucking Cuban, right? in
I
front of
did.
me.
No, and
Why
that's
is it-
I was
why
gonna
is
say
it-
that's what I prefer. I mean, it
Fake
had
Cubans?
a fake Cubans. It had a hint of
Talk about
cough
cigars,
syrup.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no murderer of Cuba, but it's I'm not smoking any Cubans. Guns are illegal there. So yeah, I did smoke a fake Cuban. It had a hint of cough syrup and
You did say it
maple
tasted-
leaves.
It didn't really taste that strange.
Oh yeah, no, it was like
Did you finish
smoking
it?
plastic. I definitely finished it because I walked down to
That was just
63rd
like
Street.
When those Albanian guys gave us fake Cubans.
Oh my
That's
god.
the same taste we had.
Yeah.
It was like plastic.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember? I
Yeah.
cracked one open and it literally smelled like medicine.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was
it was crazy.
It was a step above like a Swisher Sweet.
My guess
And
is
I, as somebody that has smoked an entire one of those,
Oh yeah.
my best guess would probably be that the glue that they use. That's what's giving it that sickly sweet smell because
Yeah, it's probably
tobacco.
glue.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably literally
it's like
glue.
Elmer's glue.
Right? Or like the Malawian glue.
Yeah.
My parents recently went to Mexico
I was a huffer. I'm sorry.
and
Yeah.
they bought these 5-pack of Cubans special edition.
Oh
Yeah, in the
Espe-
the one with like the
especial-
glass
yeah,
tops on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the glass tops. And I was like, fake! Throw them in the damn garbage.
It's Monte
Don't even
Cristo
smoke
with
them.
2 N's.
Yeah, Ponte Pisto.
Monte Cristo. It's Monte
That's
Cristo with a K.
ridiculous.
It's a better joke.
All right, now that we got cigars out of the way,
Oh,
we
thank
have the
God.
next 22 minutes of Endgame
Ah.
spoilers.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Listen, honestly, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would spoil the whole fucking movie for everybody right now, except
I wanted to.
Tom Rush didn't see it, so I'm going to
Yeah,
respect him.
Mr.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm too cool
Okay,
for
you know what?
school.
You know what? What we will do though, what I do want to do though is
blow each other.
and we are gonna let's do a Marvel talk, right? What I wanna-
Marvel talk? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
getting? Is
That is where
is that
this
what
is
we're
going.
dropping back to? Are we that boring?
Yes.
Are we that far? in
Who
there?
signed us on to that?
Yeah.
Who put us on this bullshit?
This is amateur hour, dude.
Oh my
Anyway.
god!
Really, Marvel?
Oh
Like, I
man,
thought we got.
we flew back from Los Angeles
Did
for
we
this
have, like,
bullshit.
a whole thing of questions we go be asked?
Yeah, right.
I did,
Yeah?
but I don't remember any of them.
Congratulations on your last show
I'm
ever.
falling asleep, and
Wow.
so we're gonna do Marvel.
Oh, Jesus.
That's because you went to go see the movie last night at 2 in the morning.
Okay, fine.
And you had to cart
Please,
your
go
fat
ahead.
ass back to
Go ahead.
Brooklyn.
Entertain the masses.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Open mic night.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
good.
Open mic, huh? So no more Marvel.
No more Marvel.
Hmm.
Bunch
Oh,
of
great! You guys
losers.
are genius, hilarious. Okay. Anyway, let's continue the show because it sounds like it's just bloody.
Were you
mess.
supposed to ask me what was my inspiration to get into film?
Yeah, right.
Remember
Yeah.
that
I
question?
thought that was a
you were
prep
supposed to ask
question.
me?
Same thing with me too. I mean, what was my inspiration?
I did
mean, you
ask
kind
you.
of touched
It's
on that, but
obviously-
you,
you
Yeah,
never went
no, I
to
mean everything. Every
broadcasting
time I
school.
ask you, every single
Wow.
question I ask you about anything, you're always like, "No, I don't care about that." So that's.
but that is an
that.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
he's
that's
a
literally
Debbie Downer. That's
seven,
his-
seven,
that's his thing.
seven times, 7 questions, same
Suicide. That's
I don't
his
give a
inspiration.
shit.
100%.
I don't have one. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
He's like-
Nothing matters.
It keeps
That was
me from
It's like
slitting my
it's
wrist.
like a Stain song. you
But
know?
yeah, you are. You're absolutely right though. Actually,
By the way, only 5 people got that reference too. So.
and I'm one of them.
I did want to jump into that.
But by the way,
okay.
he's actually doing the music for the Stephen King project I'm working on. you
Again,
know?
bravo on the research
yeah,
you did for
good,
the show.
Good job. Good
No,
job.
I knew about
Yeah.
this, but
Good
I
segue.
mean,
But you didn't touch on it.
the thing is
Remember
that
that was
You'd
the
much
whole
ra-
plan you were saying?
Right.
That
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
ask
yeah.
us questions
You'd much rather be,
separately and go bring it back together.
Right.
yeah, let's just say this show is just a bit more hectic than I'm used to. Sorry.
That's good.
Really?
Go with it.
Yeah.
Really? We really calm right now.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Yeah.
This is much more collected than our conversation normally.
No, already, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
usually
didn't
it's
snort
way
any
worse than
sea
this.
monkeys
If you
today,
can
so I'm
imagine
good.
that.
Yeah, right?
Good.
Oh, man,
Okay.
the sea monkeys?
So yeah. So
monkeys.
honestly, I thought that since you weren't finished working with the actual filming,
No,
and editing
that's,
of
I
the
thought that's the
movie-
reason why you brought us
Yeah.
here.
No, but that
Not to-
let
not to
me-
BS
let me-
about a Marvel
let me-
movie
let
we
me
didn't
finish,
see.
Let me finish.
I saw.
Let me finish. So,
I'm sorry.
Since I didn't, I didn't know that you were finished with your film. I didn't realize that he was actually. Are you
Oh
actively
no
working on the
no!
music?
That was the whole plan from the beginning. I hired him. Well, hired him.
I volunteered.
So it's just like I'm just like every music executive. He's not getting paid for the music. He's gonna
No.
give us-
So let me ask you this: talking to Tom and kind of getting to know what sort of music he works on, we figured out that he does electronic, and you mentioned a little bit of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
What are you planning to do for the movie then? Like, if he does electronic and hip hop, are you going to switch it up? Or are you going to do something new?
No, it's going to be more on the electronic scale, but it's something that I kind of hold close to my chest of my tactics and how I approach music. So that might be not might not be something I want to discuss, but I mean like it is something that I can get
But what-
into. Like it's going to be in the realm of like electronic kind of atmospheric kind of music.
atmospheric. That's what we
Yeah.
really want. Something atmospheric.
With some ups and downs, but you want to focus on the movie with the background of
Yeah.
the music. So think like The Social Network. Like what we're trying to do is put something together more along the lines of like David Fincher and Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor. Kind of working with that where like with the music kind of complements the movie and vice versa. It's kind of like what we're trying to approach.
Yeah.
So what you're saying? So when you say atmospheric, it's pretty much. Can you give me an example
For the layman, background
Yes,
music.
please. I have terrible.
Well-
Dark, moody background music.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Give me a movie. Give me a
There-
movie.
well-
Something recent.
I'm talking.
Go ahead.
I'll forget it.
All right.
Anyway,
I got it. It's more. It's when you talk about atmospheric. That means there isn't necessarily a theme or kind of like because like we watched the Avengers.
right,
Just see Marvel.
right.
Then you have the Avengers theme, and that everything
Yeah.
works off that.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to atmospheric, it's more like it's almost like if RZA was producing it, right? Like RZA doesn't do beats; he does atmospheric. It's more about emotions and a mood. You're setting the mood. You're not telling the story.
Right.
So that's what's more like it. I tried to good
But-
examples of it.
But yeah, I mean,
Seven.
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 Yeah,
The Howard
Seven or like
Shore-
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is gonna
Similar to
be-
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
Blade
like
Runner.
that.
That
Yeah.
one I get.
It's
Okay.
not like Blade Runner doesn't have a Blade Runner theme.
Yeah.
But it has this overlapping, overarching emotional thread
Yes,
to the
yes,
music,
yes,
but
yes.
it's not really all together. But like
Interesting.
Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
it's another good example.
Yeah,
of that,
which they actually just did that at the Beacon Theater last night.
yes, it's a
Do you see
new
that?
cut of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a disaster.
How did they pull that off?
What's
they
part
buy
of
new
the what is it?
footage,
Film
or-
Week
No,
or something?
Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola wants to do because I think it's the 40th anniversary because it came out. Voice cracked. Puberty. It's happening again.
Oh man!
Oh my God, Francis Ford Coppola, Mr. Simpson. That's how I really talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Why are you running? But Coppola for the 40th anniversary wants to do a mix of what was called the Redux cut, which was like the long 3-hour cut of it, and the cut that we all see, and kind of combine together to do an ultimate cut of it. And it's just another way to get money out of us.
Yeah. So it's
That's
just
it.
it's just a little they added maybe
I
like
definitely
20
not
seconds.
working in the movie industry, not talking shit about
No.
Coppola.
No.
It sounds like they added 20 seconds just to
No,
kind
no. Because like that's a long story with Apocalypse Now, but the Redux was actually 3 hours and 20 minutes.
No shit.
And the original cut of it, I used to theatrical cut was 2 hours and 20.
Mhm.
So this one's going to fall in that range of 3 hours. I think he wants to do.
Oh, so it's not going to be longer. It's actually going to be.
No,
maybe
it's
gonna
going to
work
be
more
like a
edited.
combination of both. Like the stuff that
Interesting.
people didn't think the Redux should have had, he's
Mm.
going to take out, and the stuff that people like, he's going to keep in. Basically, it's just
Oh, yeah,
another
I
way of
can-
making more
I
money.
can see how
you
that
know?
can make some cash. Yeah,
He got
for
my
sure.
money already. I know.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that sounds-
bitching money about, it, but he totally got my money.
To be honest, I had no idea that there was like a 3.5 hour version. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that came out in '99
Oh.
for the 20th anniversary.
Mhm.
The Redux came out. It had mixed reviews on it.
And nowadays, though, like what you call a redux, would that be the same as like a director's edition? You
It's
know?
directed. It's a nice way of saying director's cut,
that what it
special
is? Yeah.
edition. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And also, director's cut is kind of misleading. That it's a marketing tool, but director's cut, in reality, is the first cut of the film.
Oh, I
That's
see.
usually a cut you don't even see in movie theaters. But they do director's cut because that's like Ridley Scott after 20 years, like, okay, this is the way I really wanted the film.
Interesting.
But director's cut, that's just a marketing term. you
Now,
know?
as a student of film, let me ask you a question. What do you think had in, let's say, the last 25 years or something? What was the most dramatic original compared to his director's cut that you can remember?
Oh, director's cut, like the best director's cut.
Sure, let's put it the best, or most dramatic. Which one was like?
Oh,
you
it
saw
was
the,
like a complete
yeah.
different
You
movie?
saw the original, and then you saw the director's cut, and you're like, whoa.
My favorite was Saving Silverman,
Saving Sarah Silverman.
director's cut. You're welcome.
I never seen
How
it.
much?
You
How
see?
much time we got this thing?
We got another 10 minutes.
Actually, the director's cut that always blew me away, it was actually Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven,
Oh,
because it was originally in the movie theaters it was 2 hours long, and his director's cut on DVD and Blu-ray was 4 hours long.
oh,
Yeah, and he took out complete. There was a whole subplot that was taken out because the movie was gonna be 4 hours long, and you can't really.
And how
sell
long ago was that?
Kingdom of Heaven was like the early 2000s.
Kingdom of Heaven. What was that movie about? I feel like I.
Oh, that's about the one. It's about the Crusades, like the Fourth Crusade with Saladin.
You definitely got to check it out.
It's like that director's cut is kind of amazing because there was a whole subplot with a character that's not even in the theatrical
could have been
cut.
a whole nother movie. You're saying, like as far as that.
It was
subplot?
literally a different movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so-
like I remember watching the original cut of it in the theaters, and I by the end of it, I felt it was like this is like half a movie,
Yeah.
and then it was. There you go.
Interesting.
There you
Interesting.
Was
No, it's not.
Was
No, it's
Enrico
not.
Palazzo in that?
go. Enrico Palazzo. Why are you taking my joke, you asshole?
We had to mention it. I thought you were going to miss it.
Well,
All right. So we teased this earlier, and we teased.
You're teasing my heart right
We
now.
teased it earlier, and today, right here on the Johnny Mandolin Show, hosted by Artie, we're gonna get the truth. Tom, what's up with the wallet? So here, let me give a little backstory. Just don't say
I like
anything.
I like a visual joke on a radio show.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah. So
fantastic.
Here's the thing. So apparently,
no wonder why you're getting fired.
So apparently, Tom had some money for once. It was really weird, and he apparently spent every single penny, or at least almost every single penny, on some wallet. And I'm looking at it right now, and I'll explain exactly what I see. I see a black leather and pink on the inside wallet, and apparently it's
all
like,
pink on the inside.
And apparently it's like $1 million or something, and nobody wants to tell me why it's so special. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody?
Everybody, why it's so special?
Yeah, what's up? What's up with the wallet?
It's made from derelict orphans
Oh,
in
of course.
China.
Yes.
Of course. Why
it's
would
made
I
out of
expect
dead
a
babies
real
from
answer?
abortion clinics.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and where the hell are you from?
Moldova.
Moldova. Oh, there we go. I
Where's
heard.
that? Where's that? Brooklyn?
Is that in Brooklyn? I heard kids get attacked by geese out there. Is that true?
Yo, I listen. I don't know if everybody wants to hear that story, but yes, I did get attacked by a mob of geese, and from that day forward, I have had a phobia. This is not a joke. You think it's serious?
For any.
When you're 5 years old and they're like a fucking foot taller than you, this shit is serious.
For any listeners out there, Artie is the size of, like, let's say John Candy. So
yeah.
Who's John Candy?
Today.
God.
Today.
All
John
right,
Candy
folks, I
today.
John
promise-
Candy
I-
today.
I promise next time I
Yeah,
bring
but
somebody
just
on, they'll have better references.
6 feet further above
He
ground.
looks like a dead bloated guy. That's why.
Yeah. I think he's been floating in the East River for a couple weeks.
Well, he smells like it.
Now I know why they call him the River
Yeah,
Boys.
it is. I don't even.
Are
have
you
to
the
say-
raft?
I don't have to say shit. Just keep going.
Oh man.
This is great. This is you only get comedy like this here on the Artie Hour.
The Artie Hour?
Artie
Do you
Hour?
even know the name of your own
Oh,
show?
I call it whatever the
Shit.
fuck I want.
Man.
This time it's the Artie Hour.
The Artie Hour.
Yeah.
Too bad our engineer's sleeping.
Do you guys? Hey, she's writing an essay or something. Listen. Do you guys just? We have 5 minutes left. I can just let you guys tell shitty jokes for another 5 minutes. You did it for another 50 minutes already. So, go ahead.
Shitty jokes.
So
We don't do
Endgame.
jokes.
Who dies in Endgame?
Everybody. Superman.
Everybody.
So, yeah, Superman.
Clark Kent is dead.
Clark Kent is dead.
Got no Green Lantern dies in it.
That's cute. Didn't Seth Rogen play that?
It's a Seinfeld joke.
I think that the best cameo in the whole Endgame, honestly, my favorite one, and I can't believe they did it, was Deadpool. When Deadpool came out, it blew my fucking mind. I was like, yes, this is why I paid $40 for IMAX. Fucking Deadpool. And then, do you remember that
We
part?
all know you don't have $40.
Yeah.
I did this time.
Trust me.
And we all know that you don't know who Deadpool is.
So yeah.
And we all know you blew the guy next to you.
Definitely. You were in the wrong theater.
That was Johnny Bananas, by the way.
Whoa, shout out to the
shout
River
out
Boys.
to the River Boys.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, me and Bananas.
Finally.
Me and my friend Johnny Bananas. His name is Bananas because he used to work at Banana Republic.
And he's
went
hung
yeah,
like a
well,
plátano.
I'm gonna send him a copy of this. So pretty much we got a 2:30 in the morning viewing.
You
and-
did go with Johnny Bananas?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Oh, you did? It was a date. You didn't tell us.
Yeah, you didn't. Who bought
Oh
the
my
popcorn?
God.
Dude. Okay. Fuck popcorn. Right. I
Blowjobs.
had a bottle
Gotcha.
of Basil Hayden.
Is that what you did?
I had a bottle of Basil Hayden in my bag, and I had, right across the street they had a McDonald's, right?
Is that
So I'm
euphemism
standing-
for
listen,
semen
listen.
in your sack?
So I'm standing there at the McDonald's, and I'm like trying to pick out what to eat, and the guy could see.
Well,
that I'm
I mean-
obviously stressed.
What's different from your normal order of everything?
Okay, so and then the guy's like, "Let me help you out. We're having 2 for $6 Big Macs." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, boy! Give me 4 Big Macs!" And I walked in Endgame with 4 Big Macs.
Is that what you
and
did?
it
You
was-
screamed at this poor guy for
Hell
working
yeah.
at the
No,
McDonald's?
he was feeling. He was like, "Yeah, man, 4 Big Macs."
He's Jamaican?
Yeah,
He was Jamaican?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And-
He's like, too bad the Big Macs are in my pants.
Mm.
Ooh, and on that note, I think that's where we're gonna round it off.
This fat guy is Jamaican me crazy.
There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
shut
Boom!
up.
Boom!
You can only get premium content like this on the Johnny Mandolin Show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for my honorable guests, Jumbo and
Honorable?
Tom Rush, for joining me here on the show. What was that?
Wrong last name, guy. Do you even know who you're interviewing?
It's Francis.
Wrong last
Francis,
name.
my bad. Tom Rush is my boyfriend. So, anyway, okay, folks,
Is that Johnny Bananas' real name?
have a great day, and I'll see you next week.
It's a radio show.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
When it comes to providing guide dogs for people who are blind or visually impaired, one national organization is taking the lead. The Guide Dog Foundation breeds and trains Labradors and Golden Retrievers to help blind and visually impaired people increase their mobility and independence. The foundation provides transportation to its New York campus, the guide dog, a comprehensive training program, and a lifetime of aftercare services, all free of charge. The benefits to training with a guide dog at the Guide Dog Foundation in Smithtown, New York